Alright, so let's look at the midterm exam review sample exam set 2 chapter 3 and 4. Alright, so let's go through this together now. So we want to analyze the code, so we learn how to use the option pane to read in the show input dialog, right? And read in number. Now the option pane that we learned, first parameter, we pretty much just use null. Like this is going to refer to what is a parent windows. When you have the actual windows, pop-up dialog should show up, right? In what, like when you have so many windows like that, right? But in this case we put null because we're not going to worry about the parent, right? Enter a number, that's the text that will go on the dialog. Now if you look at the option pane, Javadoc, let's look at Javadoc. So we're looking at the constructors. When we call, this is a constructor, right? No, this is not constructor. This is a method called show input dialog, right? So we're looking at the method called show input dialog, right? So this is a summary of all the fields of the methods. So we're looking to see show input. So you may see there are many of them, right? See that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different show input dialog. And now the concept that the method has the same name but different parameter size here. This part we call signatures. The parameters we call overloading. Okay, these are the overloading methods. Have the same name with different signatures. You may see what we have used so far is this version, right? Let new and put the message. So now if you happen to use this version, you can put initial selection value. Like, let's take a look then. We're going to create another project and test the option pane with different type. So what we want to test is, we already know how to use the first one, so we're going to try this one, right? Alright, so we go test with the option pane dot show input dialog. You see, this is pretty much just IntelliJ have the Javadoc, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them here, right? If you enlarging it, you see the arguments, right? So it looks like the first version with just the message, right? So this pretty much just going to pop up the input dialog with the message enter value, right? Without identifying which windows. Like when you have multiple windows, you have to identify with the second option, right? or you can just put no. Technically pretty much the same as no values, right? Now we do look at the third one, right? So the first one we have, second one here, third one in the list pretty much. So the first one is this one I just showed, right? This one we already know. Now this one, initial selection value. So when we click on it, it should tell us pretty much the value used to initialize the input field. Okay, so if I'm using that, let's see if I say David, let me just use my name. Let's see, we gonna run this. See that? So it's just initialize. So that's what it means here, right? So come back to the another type of option pane. So this is null message, really null. So this is the another type is providing the title, and then message type. And message type, pretty much you can tell it to be an error message, information message, or warning message, or question message, or plain message. Like when you pop up the dialog at this point, it's pretty much just doesn't tell you what the message type is. Actually tell you it's question. See that message, but by default meaning it's question message. You could change the icon to be a warning, right, by using this type of option pane. So let's see which one we want to use. We said the first is null, and the second is enter value, right? Now let me review. So we have the message. Now the title, you could put the title instead of input. You can change the title, right? Message, and the message type. Okay, now you may see the argument type here, right? String title. So pretty much I'm gonna put the quotation for string, right? Let's say warning, right? Something like that. And then now I'm going to make the message type to be warning. So if you look at an argument again, it has to be an integer, right? Message type. Technically you can put 0, 1, 2, 3 because it's an integer. So how do we get the integer and we know it's matching to this type? Then it link back to these are the constants. So remember we learned constant in Java has to be capitalized, right? So these are the constant, which is the members of field summary here. See, these are constants. And you see the message type pretty much here, warning message. See that? It pretty much just a constant. Like when you declare or create this class, you give the number to it. And you make this constant as an in the name constant of warning message and equal to 0 or something. Like meaning we can test here. So one way is, since you don't know, right, what should be the number for warning, then you could just call the option pane and access by dot operators to the constants, right? Warning, and x actually equals 2 right there. It's telling us here, right? One way you can do that, or you can just put number 2 to replace that, right? So let me show you. Put number 2, warning. See that? Now if I don't want to, since I don't know, then I just access the option pane dot warning message. That's another way, because that constant pretty much is going to replace with number 2. Because Of course, we don't know. We're not gonna remember. It's the same thing here, right? What constant create warning message, right? And you could technically change it to different, right? It's going to tell you what type of message they have. Warning, like in the show input dialog already tell you, right? Message type, information, question, or error. See that? So you could just say, okay, error, and error pretty much is 0. It show us there too. Okay. All right. So now we understand that type of show input dialog, right? So let's look at another show input dialog here, right? You could do the same parent, the message title, message type. Now you could provide an icon. Pretty much just an icon is the icon of or the image to display. And you could provide selection values like group of the list, drop down list. Now input turns to be a drop down, right? You can provide an array. This is an array because of group of information. And you can select the initial selection value, like which one to select. Just like the same that we put initial values before. Okay, let's try that one. So I'm going to have to find image for the icon. So now, technically you have to learn how to use icon class. So an icon pretty much another is an interface, right? It's not a class. You learn what's an interface, okay? So it's looking for an image. Technically it's an image. So how we gonna put an image to the dialog box? So what I'm looking at is I look at what is the class I should use. And these are the list of the classes that use an icon interface here. Okay, so image icon could be a good candidate here. Now you have to learn how to use image icon. Pretty much just look at its constructor here. You can provide a URL to the image location. So let's try that one then. So I'm going to find image online. So we're going to do the list of what do we want to select? State then. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to get an image of the US map. So technically I need to copy the URL, right? Copy link. So now let's test first. This the link, show the image. I actually want the link to image, not the link to the website. View image. So that's the link, right? Alright, so now like I said, what we try to do, we just try to use an icon, right? To put the image on the dialog. But an icon require you to use an image icon class, right? So this is an image icon. Okay. How do I know that? Because an icon is an interface to image icon class. So I need to create image icon class and provide a URL to the image. So this is the constructor that I want to use, right? Alright, so now we come back to test the option pane. So let's make sure we have the right arguments. So let me go back to the option pane, Javadoc. Okay, so we have the message type. So let's change it to plain message. Okay, and this is select your state. Enter state. So done. Now the next one is the icon. So I have to do new image icon and provide a URL. Okay, just create a new class right there, right? With an image. And selection values, pretty much just the list of all the states, right? Which is an array. So meaning I could create an array. Array pretty much just, again, if I put a state like state 1, state 2, like I say VA, right? And keep doing state 2, right? It's going to be a lot, right? So how many states do we have in the US? So no one really like geographic, right? What did you do when you were in what class? Social study or right? What did you guys do? It's what grade you learn here? This one? 5th grade, I guess. Right. It's 50 states here, right? It's that hard, right? All right. So when instead of I declare state 1, state 2, right? I could just put a group of state in the parentheses like that. You see that? But I have to declare it as like give the size to it.
You make it 49, right?
No, this is 0 to 49, still 50, including 0 as index, right? Like for example, the state. Now, technically, you need to. This is like one way you can just declare like keep creating one by one. Let me see if I can just use this to help. Hopefully that's 50 states, right? So what I'm doing is I try to use Excel to write some formula to help, because I need to provide quotation. This is a string, right? So equals to A1 and do alpha sans. Like I actually want to do quotation first. Alpha sans A1, and then alpha sans here meaning add, like concatenating in Excel. But how do I put quotations? Maybe like that. It doesn't do. I thought it's alpha sans, right? In Excel. Maybe I need to do like this. I forgot Excel. Let me see. How could I forgot? Yeah, that works. And then I wanted to add. Let's see if I add. Yeah, that works, right? That's alpha sans, right? So meaning I actually wanted to add the. There you go. That's what I want, right? Now I just need to add this in front. Yeah, now it works. I think it's just the same formula, right? That I tried to do. Oh, they have to have 2 quotes. I see. All right. So now I have to add the comma. So this is how you use array. You just need to declare state by state and separate by comma, right? And then I can just start to do the same with that guy, right? But now I just need to have the same symbols come in front, like the quotation, and the same here at the end. That makes sense? So pretty much just copy this set and then the next one like that. You guys see what I mean? Okay, but if I keep doing that, I have to copy one by one, right? What we can do is we can use the Excel to help. Excel can actually concatenating this for us. So let's think about a good formula here. The good formula means what I can do is I can just cut this first, put it down here, right? Okay, now I want to be able to drag this. It's going to concatenate all the rows down. Okay. Let me make sure this is an A1. I can change the name back to A1. Alright, so for example, this one should equals to A1, right? So when I dragging down this, like if I do equals to A1, when I drag that, it's going to do A2, A3, and so on. Right, that's the functionality of Excel. Meaning if I do want to put a quotation, I can just do this. It should put a quotation for all of them for me. That makes sense? So, and then I want to put comma. They put comma at the end for me too. They can separate them later, right? That makes sense. Now I have 50 state, right? Now what I need is what? Just copy this and do they can paste spatial. Like I want to do let's paste by value first. You do paste by values, and then you can do just from column to rows, text to column. I think you can paste from instead column to rows. Let me try this function, transpose. Let's see if it's doing it. First, this one change to column. Copy, paste spatial. You can paste this here because it's copyright. Okay, then I can do at the corner. Okay, I think that's fine anyway because Java will take it anyway. So I go back, so I can just paste it here. Okay, now I have 50 state here, right? So I just create my array with 50 states. See that? Now I'm going to remember the next parameters is pretty much just the states, right? The states. So that's the group of objects and which initial values you want to select. right? So now we have to learn the state is an array. So to get into index 0, that means the first value is going to be selected. Like now, if I want it to go to index 0, it means Alabama, right? It's referred to the first one. So if I wanted to select initial values to, let's say, Virginia, 46, then it's going to be 45, right? Because it's starting from 0. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. So we're going to run this and see how it looks. There you go. Virginia is selected with a list of, right, option. But when we hit, it should pick the value for us and store into, right, selected value, right, like input, like that. But I was wondering what happened to the image, right? So the image doesn't show. I made a new class for image. But let's test local first. So I'm going to pick the local image, like from my folder. Let's say, let me just test this one. So I just need to copy the path to the file. Log in, right? This is PNG. You could do local image too, right? // login.png lowercase l. There you go. So image is there. So probably the URL, right? So we have to verify the URL again. Like I said, if the URL is not valid, then so let's see if we can actually do HTTP, right? Maybe that's okay. So the key is, how do I get HTTP, right? Image icon, HTTP URL, Java. Yeah, you probably have to do this first. URL class. That's it, and read before you can fit it in. Okay. Right. So URL is another class that you need to import. And then you could just put a path to the URL, right? This image. If you want to link to image from the website. Okay. And these are the classes that you need to import, right? And then you can turn them into image icon. But like this is a little bit too advanced for you. This is usually in 201. Okay. That you have to add the exceptions. The easiest way is just add a header, like throw IO exceptions. Okay. I will fix the problem for now. But I just try to show you how to do this anyway. And then you could replace that image icon with just the word, right? Icon, because we create an object of icon right there. So let's do that. And that should take care of the problem. There you go. So now our application looks better, right? And then you get the input. You could just test by print out if it's working. So it should return the value that the user selected in the program. Like 10SC right there. Then you can use that, right? This is like a form for user when they sign up, right? Let's say you leave and things like that. Then you can just use information. Okay, so now we understand the option pane. Let's come back to this question. So this is the title. This is a message type, right? So looks like it's asked to enter a number. Remember, when you read in, it's always read in as string. After you read in a string, you have to parse to integer. So now if number less than or equal to 0, we gotta print the number. Alright. A, the if statement is wrong because it does not have the else clause. Is that right? If doesn't have to follow with else clause, so this should not be the answer, right? So B, the print statement number must be placed inside curly braces. No, it doesn't have to. It's recommended to always use, but if you don't have curly braces, the statement that come after if, that belongs to the if clause. Okay. If number is 0, number is displayed. So 0 less than or equal to 0, then it should display, right? So it looks like this is a good answer. But when we were, maybe not you but me, this don't make fast decision yet, right? So make sure it may be having a better answer. So if number is positive, number is displayed, which is not true, right? Only negative or equal to 0. Number entered from the input cannot be negative, which is not true. You can also enter the negative, right? So the answer should be C. Okay. Now what we're going to look at is we want to make sure the key to this is correct, which is correct, right? So what I'm do, I'm going to copy this key and put it next in there. Then I don't have to scroll down next time next to me like that. Alright, let's look at the second question. What's the output of the following code? Yeah, this type of if statement is a question that you guys see in the test. So that's why just reading a book will not be enough. You should challenging or practicing yourself with this class exercise or sample exam exercises. Then you're ready for the test. That's why if you never look at this and just read, you're probably going to not passing the class unless you already know it from inside out. Like, this is a good tricky question here. Like, what is the output? X equals to 9, 9 greater than 9. Is that true? So, where do it go when it's false? Let's go to this one or go to this one?
Neither.
Neither? Then it's not going to do anything. Okay. None of the above. That's the answer. Correct? Everybody agree? Who said it's D? As I said, this is a good question. So none of the above, right? How many of you said none of the above?
What? Wait, can you repeat the question? Oh, yeah.
It says it's D.
How many of you said D? Okay. How about the rest?
Is it B? Yeah, B. That first else if statement.
Okay. The answer should be D. And the reason is, like I just said, this going to belong to this else, right? If this if need the else, right? Since we don't have curly braces, so that's why this statement belongs to this if, and this if has this else. This else get to the closer if, right?
Yeah, but isn't so with that very first if, after that passes as false, where does it go?
Because there's no else for this if.
You never get to the second if.
Yeah. Right.
Because
Then-
the first if is wrong.
Yeah, the else if and the else belong to the second if.
Yeah.
Like this is just like if you put curly. That's why we recommend to put curly braces when you write program. It's just like that, so it never get inside, and there's no else. That's it. And we are not required that if must have else. But once we have else and no curly braces, the else going to always belong to the closest if. That's why it belongs to this if, and this else belongs to this if. So that's why the answer is D, which is D here, right? So let's look at next one. I mean, you should practice more of this on my study guide, exam review sheet. I have a lot of this question for you in there to look at, and then the test you could see in like this. So let's look at another question. Analyze the following code. So it's Jefferson Payne again, right? So this time it's also testing on the if again. Look. A number is always printed out at least once. B number is printed out twice if number is 0. C number is printed out twice if number is negative. D number is printed out once if number is positive. E of the above. Alright, what's the answer for this?
E.
What made you think it's E?
Because it only reads one statement after the if. So that second statement is outside the if, so it's going to print number every time.
How about the rest? We all agree with E?
So the first print is under the if, and then the second print is not. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
so it's gonna print out the number regardless of
Correct.
which one. Okay.
Correct.
So it'll print out at least once.
So when you don't have curly braces, the statements that come after if will belongs to the if. The rest is just like a regular statement, like that.
Okay.
But when you don't put the code correctly indented, it can be confusing, right? So it's going to look like actually like this. That's why we recommend you to write program with curly braces. Make it easy to read. It's going to look like that. Okay. Alright. Or if you wanted to do two statement in if, then you have to do it like this because they all different meaning, right? See that? If you do it like that, then you're not getting the result that you want. So be careful. Again, you're going to see a lot of this on your test. So 4. What is y after the following switch statement? X zeros, y 0. So switch 1, case 1, y equals to 1. It said y equals to 0, right? Okay. So what's the answer? Anybody else?
What? What's the answer?
Mm-hmm. So who said A? Let me see your hands. Let me see your hand again. All right. Who said B? So we have 5 students say A. Are you saying B or A? You raise your hand twice. You A or B?
I think it's
A, right?
A and the B.
You say A and B? But there's no answer for A and B.
No, it's
Oh, then you said D then, right?
There is no break.
D?
it's B.
In case 1. Yeah, it's
So who said B? Let me see your hand again.
sorry. It's minus 1.
It's
So 2 students said B. Okay. Who said C? So you said C too? It seems like you answered to all of them. Who said D?
Thank you. You had a good point there. Yeah.
Okay, why D?
Don't you need a break?
Well, that's the thing. Without the break, it just keeps setting Y.
You're not required to put a break, and the results will be different when you don't have to break.
So without the break, it's gonna give you.
It'll start with whatever you put in. So x equals 1 will start with case 1, and then there's no break, so it'll keep reading the statements. So I read case 1. Y.
Okay, now y equals 1. And then
So it's going to jump to this, case 1, y equals to 1, but there's no break, then it's go to the next statement, y now equal to minus 1, so the answer is B. Now this is the reason why I said if you never review the exam practice, do it,
X was 1, so it went to case.
because statistically show that you failed the test and you thought you are correct. Because when you answer the test, you said I'm confident it's correct. Now the score out, you fail. You just say why.
There's no break.
Now you see why, right? So if you didn't do it yet, you still have 1.5 day to do so. Maybe 2 more days,
0.
right? You still have time, okay? I review the sheet on the Word document, right? Exam review to have more question than that. All right, next. I just try to print out this one that I can check that the answer is correct or not, to make sure the key is correct, because last time we cannot trust the key. Alright, how about the answer for number 5? X equal to 0. Alright, by the way, you may never seen this statement, that's why I want to introduce you. This is like if-else statement. If this is true, this is like expressions. This is like shorthand, right? If this is true, it's going to be 1. Right? Else it's going to be minus 1. So this is like true, and this is like false. Okay? After the column. Now, this is just an expression, meaning that the answer will return and give it to. That's why we have equals. So this is like an if-else expressions in Java. Okay? It's not like clause statements. Okay? Then you get the result and put in y. Alright, so in this case, x equal to 0. 0 is it 0 less than 100? Yes, it's true, right? And 0 greater than 0, is it true?
False.
False. So 2 and false give you false, right? Only 2 and 3 is true, right? So since we get false, then it's going to do after a colon, which is y equals to minus 1. Now let's read then. Do we have a syntax error here? And operation should have 2 ampersands, right? I mean, if they do like this, people is going to answer that if they don't know this symbol, right? Y becomes 1 after the code is executed. Nope, right? Becomes minus 1. So it should be C, correct? Alright, any question on number 5? Alright, next. Which of the following is not a valid Boolean expression? Oh, most of the times they make mistake on this one. I see it all the time.
X is not less than.
You want to do it or.
But you can't do it like that.
It has to be inside the parentheses.
No, A. It can't. You
can't like chain it like you can in like a regular math problem.
It doesn't like that.
I'm telling you, most of still make this mistake for this question. Alright, so who said A? Who said B? Who said C? Who said D? Who said E? So 3 students said E and 1 student said D, and the rest is not sure.
No, sorry, I said A.
You said A? Okay. See? We probably has all of them. It's YE. YD. All fine? Looks fine to you? Okay. Do you think Java can do like this? Try that in your code when you go back home. E? Why you say E?
Because the first one doesn't work, and the second one.
Right. Java will not allow you to do like this.
The second one should be x equal.
Right. Just missing another equal. This is assigning operators. You cannot put x equals 1 in the expression. Remember, comparison, we have to do 2 equals. The third one.
Can't put the equals before the.
Right, equals cannot come before, right? It has to be less than equals, right? So the answer is E. Right? Yeah, it's gonna be a tricky one. That's why I said most students make mistake on this. So now we have seen, then you should not make mistake. So which of the following expression is equivalent to x greater than 1? Yeah, this is also a tricky one.
Because if you can, then it's B, and if not, it's E.
Who said A? Who said B? Okay. So A should not be the case because this will not equivalent, right? Because equal. Now B. So the opposite of greater than 1 should be what? Less than or equals to 1. And then the opposite of less than or equals to 1, just put not, right? This one will miss the equals. This one will miss the Mm-hmm. The less than part. So it should be B, right? You guys feel like it's easy now?
Wait, so what's it B?
It's B.
Okay.
Analyze the following two code fragments. First one, x equals to 5. 5 if 5 greater than 0 and 5 less than 100, which is true, right? This is how you write in between, right? Not the one that we've seen before. Not like that. See that? We have to combine with the AND expressions. The square print x is between 1 and 100. It looks fine here, right? So let's say the second one, x equals to 5. Can we do this?
Yeah, you can do that. Unfortunately. I just tried it.
Oh, oh, is this okay?
No.
Actually, this is maybe wrong because
That's wrong.
Oh, because you need an extra set of parentheses.
The
mm-hmm.
second one works.
Like you need a whole like that, right?
I'm good with that though.
Right? Otherwise, this is wrong. So now we need another set of parentheses in these two expressions. That's another question, right? You see, that's why when you study, you still have time to run your compiler. But if you don't study, in the test, you just have to do, what do you call that? Trial and errors. Right? Guess one. Right? Just make sure you bring the coins and allow you to toss the coin. Right? Or you can bring the dice because we have A, B, C, D, E. Just bring your dice, right? If you don't study. So the answer should be what? The first fragment has a syntax error. We just talked about that, right? The parentheses, right? In a group. This should be fine in Java. Okay. Like you don't really need to have a parenthesis inside. I can just copy and paste for you here. You see, there's no errors. Right, but if you do this and this, then there's an error because you're missing that set of parentheses, right? See that? So meaning the answer should be A, right? Nine. This is a challenge of switch case again. Now always remember when you see switch case, always look at what if there's a break. If there's no break, then it's going to follow through, right? Alright, so x equals to 0, d equals to 1, d plus 4, 5, case 5, x plus plus. So x gonna be 1, right? But there's no break, then it's going to do x. Now, another challenge is normally you do x minus minus, but this is minus minus x. That is different. Like you subtract before or you subtract later. That's a challenge. So is it gonna be 0? Or is it still minus 1? But it's let's oh, that's another thing, right? Double. It's not an int, right? Can switch use with double? You cannot use double in switch case. Why? Because double is keep going. It's not exact values. It's gonna be point something 99999. So the required break keyword is missing. Like I say, it's not required, right? The required default keyword. It's not required either. The switch control cannot be double. That's it. C. This question is easy with the multiple choice to help you, right?
Wait, just asking though, like assuming, let's say instead of doubles it was integers, then
Yeah, what should be X?
so then
I mean, there's no print X.
Let's talk about the minus
I know,
and
but like the minus X.
before and minus after. So let's take a look at just simple system.out. And I'm going to print like minus X, right? And I'm going to declare int X equals to 0. So what should be the output? -1, right? Now let's see if I do X minus. So what should be the output?
0, because it does 0 and then it subtracts 1.
That's correct. So that's different, right? So it's minus before, and then print, and then print before, and then it's subtract. But the value of the X, if you print again, it's going to be what? You see it's going to be -1 because it's being subtracted later, but this one is happening to print before subtract. So that's different, right? And then this guy pretty much is going to be the same, -1 twice, right? Okay. So in this case, this one should be what?
Well, it depends on where you put the print, but if you put it at the end of the switch
If it's int, then we can evaluate it, right?
right.
So 4, and then it's gonna be 1, right? Because 4 plus 1 is 5, so this will be 1. And then minus X.
0. Because if you put the print after
Right.
the case, we'll evaluate both of those statements before printing it. So then if you said print X at the end. but
Right,
you
it's gonna
also-
be 0.
It would be 0 plus plus, but then it'll subtract it again in the next one, right?
Well, it'll be 0 plus plus and then minus
Yeah,
minus
minus
1.
in the next case because there's no break.
There's no break yet.
Okay.
And you weren't asking it to print X in between those two operations.
Alright, so how about
Both of them then print
this one? X equal to 0. Number 10 here, X equal to 0. X greater than 0 is print X.
C.
Why is there a semicolon in there?
Yeah. You can put semicolon at the end of statement. When there's a semicolon there, what does it mean?
I'm just sitting here like, what the sharp eye, it's like bold, dude.
Yeah, I know. Alright.
What?
Don't rub it in.
So A, the symbol X is always printed. Is it always printed when we have semicolon? B, the value of variable X is always printed. The symbols of the value it should be symbol because quotation, right? Nothing is printed because X is greater than 0 is false. Is it false? It is false. But semicolon actually end statement right there already.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there just pretty ends?
Then this is just separate statement.
Yep.
So the answer is A.
You can just have curly braces wherever you want.
Yeah, I mean, they don't.
Because this is an ending of if. Like an if doesn't have any conditions, just like that.
Yeah, the curly braces don't technically stop it.
This, like when you write Java, you can put the curly braces.
You could just randomly put
Yeah.
them in your code for no reason to.
in the program.
Sheesh. Okay.
Make sure those inequalities that you want.
So which of the loop statements always have their body executed at least once? I talk about this all the time. Yeah, it should be easy, right? Since we talk about that. So analyze the following code. Oh.
It can't just be one ampersand, right? Or can it?
I think it must be 2.
I was looking at that, it's like, there's no right answer.
Doesn't it also need like the outermost parentheses?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, so C.
Also B?
12?
So let's try this one.
Well, it's the
And an extra set of parentheses.
well, the while statement needs to be parentheses. You don't technically need piece A operator, piece B, but there's nothing in parentheses around those two. So we get confused because you basically said while first operator. Oh, the first expression. Oh, there's all this crap. I was like, wait. While.
So which one is the answer then?
C. Also, it touches the wood.
First you see is will not run, right? The code does not compile because the loop body is not in the that should not be a requirement.
Yeah.
You can have like if you don't need to have the curly braces, right? Like just belongs to the next, like this statement belongs to while, right? So the code doesn't compile because it's not enclosed with a pair of parentheses, right?
And you still would need a second I though.
You mean the ampersand, right? Yeah, I mean,
That too, but
yeah, but the most that correct one should be this one, right? Because it will not run at all, right?
correct.
It just happened to make you confusing a little bit by omitting another ampersand here, right? But it doesn't matter. Just pick the best answer, right? So analyze the following code. So we use double in for loop. Have you ever seen that?
No. Can't do that.
I don't think you can.
The question is, can you really assign double in for, right? Let's see. Let's run. So there's no errors. So let's evaluate the code now then. So sum equal to 0, d equal to 0, d less than 10, sum plus equal to sum plus d. So we accumulating the sum, right? With increment d until d happen to be greater than 10, right? Or equals to 10. So when you keep adding 0.1, right, it will stop right there. Okay. So A is not right. The program has a syntax error because the control, this is not right too, right? So most likely people will say double because you don't know, right? So for is not like switch. Switch cannot have double. Case has to be exact, right? The program compiles does not stop because D would always be less than 10. Not true, right? It's not going to loop forever because we keep increment by 0.1. So D is the answer. Any questions? Now 14. What is Y? So Y equal to 0. And after execute, what should be it? It say I equal to 0, I less than 10. So now this is going to do plus plus I. Remember we have I plus plus and plus plus I. So this is going to increment I. So the question is what's the answer, right? So Y is going to keep accumulating. The question is how many times this loop is going to execute. 0 to 9, right? So it should be B, right? Now let's see if plus plus I and I plus plus will affect this, right? Okay. We just want to experiment a little bit. So we know it's going to be 10 times, correct? But we wonder, is the difference between plus plus I and I plus plus? This one is plus plus I, we print Y. So it's 10 times, like we said, right? So how about I plus plus? It's also the same, right? So let's see, we print Y inside. It should start from 1 to 10, right? Doesn't matter. The same thing. See that? So let's print I. So I should be 0 to 9 in this case. And I plus plus 0 to 9 too. So it doesn't matter for the loop, right? So what balance after the following code is executed? So balance equal to 10, while balance greater than or equals to 1, which is it is, right? Let's go do the loop. If balance less than 9 is no, this talk about what's continuous statement, right? So I have balance is 10, it's going to do a loop. If balance less than 9 is continue, but in this case not going to do because it's greater than 9. Then it's going to subtract by 9, correct? Subtract by 9, now balance equals to 1, right? So 1 come back, it's equals to 1. There's go to if, now if 1 less than 9, correct? There's going to continue. We talk about continue. It's not going to do the next statement, but it's going to go back to loop, right? And 1 again and again. So it's keep repeating, doesn't end, right? That should be the answer. Make sense? Any question on 15? So 16, what's the value of balance after the following code then? All right, 10. So now it's instead of continuous, there's a break. Meaning that after we subtract 10 minus 9, we have 1. So 1 go back is equals to 1 less than 9. So now it's break out of the loop right away, right? Break, just exit the loop. So the balance should be 1. So it's going to be C, right? 17. Now this is the same, the if-else expressions. So is 2 greater than 3? No, let's go do the else, right? X equals to 3. So it's going to be B. Any questions? Alright, so let's look at 18. Alright, this is a modulator. Get the remainders. So what's the remainder here?
1.
Right, always going to be 1 because divided by 2, right?
Yeah.
And it's odd, right? So 1 equals to 0. False, right? So even is false. Now if even, is that a problem?
You can do that. Constant true.
Okay. So the question is, this is assigning true to the even, right? Instead of comparing, right?
Right.
Can we do that?
Always have.
That's the question. Can we assigning inside the Boolean expressions like that? If we say yes, we can, then the answer should be we change even to true. It should say it is even. Right? If we say no, then it's going to be syntax errors, right?
Yeah.
So it's either A or D, right? The question is, can you really assign in the expression statements? Which is fine, you could assign. If you do this, you do compare. If you do this, you assign, right? Then the answer is, it is even. Okay, it's kind of a little bit tricky here, right? So 19, we have 3 set of codes. If income less than 10,000, so tax equals to income times 10%, right? 0.1. If income less than equals to 20,000, tax equals to pretty much just takes 10,000 plus 1,000 times 15%. So this is do the tax, right? Based on your income. Else it's going to be income minus 20,000, 10,000 plus 1,005 plus 1,000, and do 18%. Now the question is, if it's the same as the B, okay, let's look at B. Now let's say if my income is 100, right? Or 1,000, it's going to be the first one, right? And then it's going to the second one too, right? Because 1,000 is still less than 20,000, correct? And it's going to do the else too, right? It's not, no, it's going to just do the second one, yeah. Because it's not going to do the else, right? Because that means greater than 20,000. But let's see B, if my income is 1,000, it's going to be the first one less than or equals to 20,000. And it's going to do the same formula right there. And it's going to do less than 10,000, it's going to change to this formula. And it's going to do again with the last one, which is the same as the same formula as the first one, huh? What happens if I do greater than 20,000 in this case? It's going to do this. That means A and B are not equivalent because this will never take care of greater than 20,000, right? So A should not be the answer, right? How about C? So if I have 1,000, it's going to do this. if it's between 10,000 and, so it's going to do this.
Yeah,
So it's not going to be equivalent, right?
why not?
It's evaluated for two.
Is it equivalent? So if I make 1,000, 1,000 will go to which one? This formula, right? Oh yeah, it's equivalent because it's same formula. Okay. So now if I do more than 20,000, which one is going to go?
Else.
For this case, it's going to do else, which is the same, right?
Yeah.
So it's equivalent. Yeah, because this is the same thing. It's just do taking care of greater than 10,000, which is, yeah, this already taking care of that, right? So A and C are equivalent, and that's the answer. All right. Any other questions? And we know for sure B and C are not equivalent, right? Because B not equivalent to A, and A equivalent to C, and D should not be the answers. And the rest pretty much just review for your programming. Okay, all right, you can do exercise for that. And don't forget to review the exam sheet review, midterm review here. Okay, and then you should be good to go. And watch the videos for
Well,
exam sample exam 01. Okay.